skill in science is explaining what happens in an experiment. So you might be shown an experiment which you then have to explain the science behind what is happening. So here's an example of the types of things that you'll need to include in your explanation. It needs to be clear and it needs to be detailed. You need to use scientific words and you need to link those words with connectives like as a result, as a consequence, etc. So here's an example of an experiment that we might need to explain in science. This is the experiment where you have a bell in a jar, you suck out the air and it goes quiet, and then you let the air back in and it gets louder again. So you have to explain that experiment. Here's a simple explanation. So why is it that the bell goes quiet? This happened because there was no air to vibrate the sound. That is true, that is technically true, but it's not very detailed. It hasn't got many scientific words in it, and it doesn't really explain in enough precision what is happening. Here's another explanation which is much better than the first one. This one says, this happened because sound travels by making the particles in the air vibrate. When the air is removed from the jar, there are no particles, it is a vacuum. Consequently, the sound cannot travel from the bell to the jar. Now this is a much better explanation because you've got scientific words there, such as vacuum and particles. You've got a clear explanation of what's happening in detail, and the parts of the explanation are linked by connecting words. This is a much better explanation. Writing a good explanation shows that you really understand the science behind the experiment that you've seen. And the better your explanation and the more precise it is, the better your understanding of the science.